One person esteems one day as better than the other, while another esteems all days alike. Each one should be fully convinced in his own mind. I personally, now I know that there's been a lot of disagreement on this. I personally think that Paul is interchanging here fast days. But I know that this is a very controversial subject. I think when he talks about esteeming one day better than the other, the Jews in the first century, they abstained, they didn't eat. There were 2 fast days a week. The believers fasted on different days than the non-believers. And so I think he's talking about fasting here. Rob, do you accept that?
On the days, I think it has to do with, we have what's called the Megillat Ta'anit, which is a scroll of fasting, which is a first century kind of calendar of extra days. So it's not talking about biblical holidays. It's talking about days where there was required fasting, and we're not talking about Day of Atonement.
Right.
We've seen this in the Gospels. We see where, even John and his disciples are fasting along with the Pharisees, and they're asking Yeshua and his disciples why they're not fasting. So, and it's not talking about a feast of the Lord there. This is usually marking some sort of more recent Second Temple memory, and so, yeah, and I think it does. I think he's talking about something like the 4th of July, or it could be celebratory, or it could be there's a disaster and there was a national disaster, therefore we fast on it. For example, just last week was the 9th of Av, which is a traditional, that's one of the dates that's on the marked on this ancient calendar, but not biblical calendar, it's understood to be a mandatory fast day and a day of mourning. Well, it's not in the Bible, but it's strongly in rabbinic tradition, so much so, I think we talked about last week, that they would, everything happened on this one day. It's not just the first temple destroyed, but the second temple destroyed. Not only that, it was the day that that God gave the verdict to the spies that they were going to be in the wilderness or Israel. They would be because of the spies for 40 years. It was also the time that some other thing happened. So they as time goes by, more and more atrocities are lumped to this day, and so the fasting is a time to remember all these things. But that is like totally not obligatory before God at all to fast on that day. But yet you'll meet people that it's very important to them. It's that kind of issue. That's what it's talking about.
We got a couple of things in the chat room, and let's talk about them real quick. It looks like Lewis says, Nanos' opinion regarding the week is very interesting. Care to comment? I don't care to comment at this time because although I've read some of Nanos' work on Romans, I am not familiar with his view on the week in this passage. Mary says, side question, what days were fast days? I'm just curious. Yeah, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong on this, I think the non-believing Jews fasted on Mondays and Thursdays, and then the believers fasted on Tuesdays and Fridays. I could be wrong on that.
No, that is from the Didache, with 2nd century. That's where you have early believers in Yeshua trying to make sure that they're not.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's late.
Associate them with the rabbis.
Right.
So they So they keep Sunday instead of Shabbat, and then they fast on different days.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.